Greetings, everybody. This is Bronson's By Any Means Necessary Fantasy Sports Talk for Monday, January 17th, 2022. I'm here in the lovely Mount Tabor Park in northeast Portland. It's one of the highest points in the city. As you can see, you kind of get a decent view from this side of the mountain. It's not really a mountain. Definitely Oregonians, Pacific Northwesters definitely know what mountains are. This is not a mountain. This is a hill that just happens to be in the city. It gives you an overlook. On this side of the hill, we have 205 area. As you can see, maybe you can't see it. Yeah, you definitely can't see it in this video, but I can see it when I look over there. The 205 interstate, Clackamas, and just northeast Portland. On the other side, you can see more downtown Portland, which is pretty nice. But there's a lot more people on that side of the hill. And this is my new Fit for an Autopsy hoodie. I wish I could show you guys the back. The graphic on the back is sick. I got this hoodie for free, even though I paid for it. I paid $50 for the hoodie at the show, which is an amazing show here in Portland, downtown Portland, and $7.50 for tip. I think it was like 15% or something. I don't even know what it was, but it was $57.50 total. Got my money back for free because of Instant Karma through my Credit Karma debit card. So it's pretty cool. So I got my money back. So it was basically a free hoodie. I recently came up with a really genius, or I think it's a genius business idea. It's like definitely would make me millions, possibly billions. I don't know. I don't know why this business idea doesn't already exist. I'm certainly not going to talk about it here. This just seems too obvious that it doesn't exist. I'm going to have to look into it more and figure out why this business doesn't exist. And then, I'm obviously not going to be able to fund it. I'm not that rich. Not doing that well financially yet, but yeah, I don't know why it doesn't exist, and I'm going to have to figure out why. Maybe, just maybe in a few years, this idea will make me filthy rich. But anyways, this is supposed to be about fantasy sports, right? Fantasy basketball. This is going to be my 8 things that Bronson is spiking and yiking here. I'm just going to continue with that theme, spikes and yikes. That's my thing for football. Let's continue it into basketball and probably baseball too. I don't want to, get any trademark violations with Matthew Berry or Zach Lowe, two writers who do this sports thing that I really admire. So we're just going to stick with spikes and yikes. So 4 yikes in the basketball world, fantasy basketball world, 4 spikes in the fantasy basketball world. I'm trying to give you guys a view. And forgive me if I'm sniffling. It's a little bit colder than I was expecting here in the Pacific Northwest today. It was supposed to be sunny and stuff. That's why I chose today to come over to the town and park. It's not sunny at all. So very overcast, very normal winter day here in Portland. No snow, no rain. That's a plus. Rain's more of a fall and spring thing. It just gets overcast and gloomy here in this area of the country in the wintertime most of the time. But my 4 yikes in fantasy basketball for the week, I don't know why I'm saying for the week, just for today. I'm gonna do more than one of these a week, I would hope. Just gotta find the motivation to do it now the football season's over. Zion Williamson. He was supposed to miss, I think it was 2 weeks at the beginning of the year with his foot injury. And it's now been, 3 months? We're now in 2022, and he hasn't set foot, pun intended, he hasn't set foot on the court there so far this year. So he's been a huge fantasy bust because he was the 2nd-round pick for a lot of us. I was actually, even though I typically hate Duke players, I was actually high on Zion coming into the season this year because on looking back, I don't really know why, but he hasn't played yet, and he's been a huge disappointment, a huge waste of a 2nd-round pick. And continuing on that theme, Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons hasn't played a single minute of basketball yet this season either. I was really high on him because he was tumbling down draft boards, and for good reason. But around draft time, I lost my train of thought. Let me get past these people. Also got to figure out where I came in to this park, because it's like a big circle, big loop up the hill. I came in on one side, walked to the other side. Now I'm trying to figure out how to get back down to get back to the train, which I believe obviously over by the 205 freeway. So I walk that general direction. But Ben Simmons, yeah, he hasn't played yet this season either. And around draft time, I was gobbling him up because I was like, he's a value at this round where he's falling. And at around that time, it was reports were that he was returning to practice and he intended to play. So I was like, yes, get Ben Simmons everywhere I can. Well, that didn't work out too well because he still hasn't played. He still hasn't played. Excuse me, I just had a hiccup. And not sure he'll play at all this season. So yeah, having Zion and Simmons on clogging up my IR all season, especially with how bad the COVID outbreaks have been in the last couple of months, has really put a damper on my season. Next, I want to talk about Bol Bol, because I was really excited. I was excited about him when he chose to come to Oregon, because I was still living in Eugene at that time. I was still working for the university, working security at the games. I was excited to see Bol Bol, but I never really got to because he played like 6 games there. So by the time, you know, like all the exhibition games were through, which I didn't work those games, he was already out for the year. So I never got to see Bol Bol. I was excited for him to come to the NBA. I thought he was going to be like a top 5 pick. Ended up being a 2nd rounder. I was stunned. And now he's kind of been blocked in Denver. And I was excited when he got traded to Detroit. So I was like, Detroit's going to be the perfect opportunity for him. I already saw this guy walk by with his dog. He must have done the whole loop already. That's crazy. But that trade ended up getting overturned because he couldn't pass his physical, which is a huge bummer. So now he's got to go back to Denver and, you know, ride the pine behind Nikola Jokic and Paul Millsap and Aaron Gordon and Jeff Green. You know, a place where he's not going to get any minutes. And I was gobbling Bol Bol up after that trade in fantasy too, and ended up again backfiring, which you would think all the misfires I've had in my drafts and stuff this season that I'd be struggling, but I am not struggling at all. Most of my teams are doing really, really, really well. All right, that's where it came up. So I'm going to go back down that way. And last bit of bad, Bogdan Bogdanovic. He was Atlanta was finally giving him a chance to play because Sacramento's so inept, such a dysfunctional franchise. No one can really succeed there. Atlanta was an opportunity for him to prove himself, and he did that last year. So he was really a lot of people's darling mid-round pick in fantasy this year. He has been a complete disappointment. He's literally unmovable in Dynasty right now. I've been trying to move him all season, and nobody wants him for, you know, more than a 2nd round pick, which I'm not going to give him up for a 2nd rounder because he's worth more than that, but he's just unable. He's having trouble staying healthy this season, so yeah, so he's been a little bit of a disappointment. He's playing well when he's playing, but he's just not playing much. So hopefully this injury that's currently nagging him, let's put him back on the injured list, hopefully that's going to be the end of it. Like, I need to see some productivity from Bogdan here down the stretch. Moving on to the Spikes here in fantasy basketball. I just want to talk about my team, my money league team, first and foremost. I just swept my opponent last week 11-0. So an 11 cat league, I swept him. He didn't win a single category. And in my league, my commissioner has this cool thing where the person who gets the best win every week makes a little money. So I got 10. Hasn't been finalized yet. He hasn't actually chose my team, but I should be winning. I should be earning myself 10 crisp George Washingtons through Venmo here shortly, because there's no way someone had a better win than me. Even if that team was bad, the team I played was bad. Doesn't really matter. You know, a sweep, clean sweep, 11-0 should get me that money. So that's the first good thing I want to talk about in my Spikes segment. Next, we'll talk about some players. Oh, this is a beautiful dog. Hello. I think I need to go down over here. Scary Payton II. It's always been a fan of his since he was in Corvallis. Really great defender, really athletic. Always thought he'd make a good pro, but for whatever reason, it didn't really work out for him until now. He's been a fringe roster guy for a few years, but Golden State is pretty much the perfect opportunity for him, and I'm glad to see him finally being successful and finally, you know, getting himself into a rotation spot. I've been trying to pick him up in all my dynasty leagues, even before he had this, you know, this little breakout thing that he's having this year. I was trying to get him before that. Definitely still trying to get him, but it's costing me a lot more at this point in time. We're really happy to see him establishing himself, and I was a big fan of his dad. His dad was one of my favorite players of all time. Also, Jalen Suggs, he was in my Yikes segment last time. He's in my Spikes segment this time because he's finally back. I'm really high on Jalen Suggs in redraft and dynasty. You know, hopefully it's his long-term injury. He was struggling before the injury. No, this is not where I want to go. I want to go back down that road, I think. Okay, whatever. I'll just keep walking for now. No, I want to go that way. Leaving the park now, because I want to go, you know, I need to charge my phone, and I want to see if I can find myself some shoes today as well. So, a few things I wanted to come to Portland for on my day off. I don't have to pay sales tax over here like I do in Washington. I was hoping to get a phone over here today too, but they're all sold out of the iPhone 13, so I'm gonna have to order it online, have it delivered to my house, pay sales tax anyway, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, Jalen Suggs, hopefully he can live up to the hype that, you know, I thought Orlando was a great landing spot for him, and I still think he has star potential. So, yeah, hopefully he can start providing his draft value back here down the stretch. Because I also have him and Luka are the foundational pieces of one of my dynasty teams, so I need Suggs to pan out so my guards can be set for the next 15 years. And lastly, a couple of Blazers, Anfernee Simons, Nassir Little. They were both very high upside picks when Neil Olshey, the recently fired GM, made them, and I was really high on them. I thought that they would be good players, just needed some seasoning, and that's exactly how it's turned out. The injuries to Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum have really allowed Anfernee Simons to blossom. He's having a great month, and he's impossible to get in dynasty leagues right now, and for good reason. And I'm glad, you know, the emergence of Simons and Little should potentially make it easier for the Blazers to move on from CJ McCollum Robert Covington, or God forbid Damian Lillard. I want them to keep Lillard, Simons, and Little. Move the other veterans, move those other guys. Try to get some better pieces around them in the front court. Get a defender like a Marcus Smart, or Rajon Rondo, or Patrick Beverly, some kind of really good defender to play guard, either backup guard or start alongside Lillard and Simons. And then, you know, they got Norman Powell and Nassir Little. I mean, it would definitely be a small lineup, but the NBA is definitely going more positionless these days. So, I mean, I don't know. One of those guys has to come off the bench. We definitely need, Portland definitely needs a quality big. Nurkic ain't it. So, but we do have some intriguing, good pieces to move to try and acquire a better big asset like Sabonis. That would be perfect. Demand Sabonis would be ideal. But yeah, all right. I think I'm gonna end this mercifully now. I think you guys have had enough of me annoying you. So, also need to start paying attention to where I am walking, because I'm not in the park anymore, and we got to figure out how to get back to the train from here. So, you guys hang loose. Peace, love, and nacho fries, and good luck to you in whatever endeavors you take on this week, and good luck to you in fantasy, unless you're playing me, of course. So, bye.